the 80s. Back to the 80s. Back to the 80s with Dennis Wood.
This is Back to the 80s. I'm Dennis Wood, and formed in the early 80s, Vixen was an all-female group that broke through the male-dominated world of hard rock and metal. They had big hooks, glam looks, and serious musical chops, and they shot up the charts with their 1988 self-titled debut album. That sold over 1 million copies, and Vixen videos became MTV staples. They proved they were not some novelty act either. They were the real deal, and over the years, they've toured with legends, rocked the world, and continue to bring that 80s fire to new generations of fans today. Vixen is back on the road. They're getting ready to rock Clearfield Saturday, July 19th. They'll be on the grandstand stage at the Clearfield County Fair, and my guest on the show this morning helped break barriers and bust eardrums as the thunder behind the kit in Vixen, Roxy Petrucci. Welcome to Back to the 80s, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. And you know what? That was a great opening. How am I going to follow that now?
All true, my friend, all true.
Totally revved me up.
It's not an understatement to say that you are a true rock and roll trailblazer. The hard rock and metal scene of the 80s, that was a boys' club and a misogynistic scene, to say the least. How in the world did you Vixen girls manage to break through that glass ceiling?
Because we didn't let it stop us, and we didn't pay attention to all the noise. We just knew what we wanted to do, which was tour, make some great music, doing what we love. It didn't matter that we were female. I mean, the guys had better makeup and better hair than some of the bands did than us. So it was just like, that was the 80s. It was big hair, loud music, big choruses, and we were just part of that genre. And, girl, guy, it didn't matter. We didn't care. We loved rock and roll, and we wanted to shout it out to wherever. We played anywhere that we could play, just to get the word out about Vixen.
Well, you're one of the few female drummers in a genre that's dominated by guys. How did that shape your experience in the industry?
Well, growing up, there were hardly any females. The only band that I knew of at the time was a band called Fanny. I'm not sure if you're aware of them, but they were back in the 70s. And when I saw she was a female band and they were rocking and the drummer was incredible, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And then, of course, my brother brought home Led Zeppelin albums and Black Sabbath and Judas Priest and things like that. And, they were all men, all guys, but it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to be a great drummer. So I just listened, I played and toured and never looked back. It just shouldn't matter if it's a woman or a man. It just shouldn't matter. It's all about the music and about the showmanship. And, it's a feeling. Rock and roll is a feeling, and it's unifying. It should be unifying. That's what music is.
Exactly. Let's go back to the beginning, Roxy. What do you remember most vividly about the early days of Vixen, breaking into the scene during the glam metal explosion of the late 80s?
I remember we had to just clutter Sunset Strip with as many posters as possible, and we would staple our poster over Poison, because back then we didn't have the internet, you didn't have social media, so if you wanted to do marketing, you did it on your own, and you were hitting the clubs at night, and you were just schmoozing with whoever you had to schmooze with to get into a show, and my band wants to play here, blah, blah, blah. And but yeah, we would make these flyers, posters, and then start looking for management, and it was pretty brutal. But you know what? The journey is what makes it all worth it. It was so much fun. We didn't have any money, nothing, but we just knew we were going to make it, and it just had a blast doing that. I mean, it was a whole different scene. It'll never be duplicated, of course. And I'm just glad that I was part of that.
MTV played a big role for a lot of bands in the 80s. What was it like seeing your videos in regular rotation and being part of that golden era?
Look, Ma, I'm on TV. Look, Ma, there I am. Oh, it was awesome. It was really, really wild just to see that. And just making the videos was incredible. I mean, back then it took, it would take 2 to 3 days sometimes just to shoot one video. And the money that went into making these videos was just ridiculous. When I look back now, and of course, who paid for it? The band, but you didn't realize it at the time. They just threw money at you and said, okay, here's your advance. Well, a lot of that money went to, recording and videos and things like that. But, man, what an experience. Playing, just seeing it on TV was just, I can't explain it. It was just like your dreams come true, You see it. You actually see it, you hear it, and it's great.
Roxy, my guilty pleasure is your song "Edge of a Broken Heart." That's one of my absolute favorite 80s songs. And it was co-written by Richard Marx. He helped produce your debut album, too.
Sure.
How'd you become involved with him, and what was he like to work with?
He was managed by Alan Kovac, who also managed us. We were pretty much almost done with the album, and listening to it, we thought, and he thought, and same with our record company, we didn't have that single that was going to pop. You know, we had great songs on that record, obviously, but there was that one we needed. And Richard saw us play. He loved Janet's voice, and it inspired him to write "Edge of a Broken Heart." He actually wrote it, and Phoebe Wabel from the Tubes wrote the lyrics. And then we went into a rehearsal studio, and we put it together. You know, we Vixenized it, and it was magic. And he was incredible to work with. He's a musician himself, so he knows how how to work with musicians versus just telling us what to do, blah blah blah. He brought out the best in each one of us. So it was a great experience.
Well, Vixen toured with some legendary acts: Ozzy Osbourne, Bon Jovi, Deep Purple, Kiss, the Scorpions. Who were your personal favorites to tour with, and who was the wildest? Or maybe it was you Vixen girls.
Yeah, it's usually the girls. Oh, gosh, I can't tell you my favorite, but each one had their own unique specialness, and, God, they're all heavyweights. So I'm just grateful that we were able to tour with all of them. Scorpions, it was our first major tour. So, they had flowers and champagne sent to our dressing room and said, "Welcome to the big show." And that was so sweet. But watching them every night and how professional they were, we learned a lot from them. And then going from Scorpions to Deep Purple, again, legends and just incredible. I would sit behind Ian Pace. I asked him first, of course. I said, "Do you mind if I sit behind you when you're playing?" Because I just wanted to watch, And it's just like, wow. I was just like, I was totally fangirling, a big time. But again, we learned a lot from these guys. They were fun, but they were gentlemen. There was nothing, no weirdness or anything like that. We just had a great time with them, and we learned a lot. We loved watching them. Kiss was great. I think Gene Simmons had a big crush on Jan, our guitarist at the time. He made it known. But again, fun, great guys. Educational, super fun. But of course, all the stories, they're locked in the vault.
Never to be spoken of on FM radio, right?
Yeah, it's a damn Skippy.
Roxy, what was the most memorable gig you ever played?
Ooh, wow. God. Oh, Dennis. Sweden Rock was incredible. We did Milton Keynes with like some 200,000 people. Incredible, just see it, people.
I think you guys are leaving for the UK right after the Clearfield County Fair performance, right? So we'll be your warm-up act for those UK shows.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, totally exciting. And we did Brazil a couple years ago, and I love going overseas. It's time for us to go back. We're going over to England and playing a few shows. So hopefully when we do the couple of shows in England, maybe they'll tack on a few more.
Roxy, you've been performing for over 40 years now. What drives you to keep playing? And what's it mean to you personally to still be playing these great songs and connecting with fans all these years later?
It's who I am. It's not just what I do. I still have the enthusiasm. I still have the drive. I love the band. I love playing with these girls. We're having a great time. So I think because I love Vixen, I love the music, I just love this band, and I want to continue doing it. And as long as the fans want to keep hearing it, I will do it until till I can't, physically can't. But right now, I'm still in fairly good shape. Still got tons of energy, and I'm going to keep slamming those skins.
What's it like seeing a whole new generation discovering Vixen and 80s rock in general?
Oh, it's awesome. And especially, we'll be playing these shows, and sometimes we go out and do meet and greets, and there'll be people that say, they come out to the meet and greet, and they're like, we saw you with Ozzy back in 1989. This is my daughter, and she's introduced you, and she loves you guys. Oh, so we get a lot of that. A lot of college kids that are totally into the 80s now. And, that music, because the 80s, there's nothing like it. That music, the fun, the anthems, How can you not like that?
That's why we do Back to the 80s every week.
Yes, because people want to hear it. Young kids want to hear it, and they're totally, all about it now. And the people want it. They're coming to the shows. That is the test.
Well, the Clearfield County Fair Show, it's going to be a triple bill. It's Vixen, Ace Frehley, and Stephen Piercy from Rat. And Stephen joined me on the show recently, and I know you tour with him quite a bit these days. Did you guys cross paths? Did Vixen girls cross paths with the Rat Boys back in the day?
Yes, we did. In fact, we did a MTV show, Unplugged, with those guys. And what's funny is we're probably more friends now than we were back then. It was a different scene back then, I think more competitive, where now it's more of a rock community where you support each other. It's like you give each other kudos for, hey, it's 35 years later and we're all still kicking ass. Good for you. Let's keep supporting each other. And I think that seems to be the vibe right now. And Steven's great. He's been really cool to us. Love playing with him and love playing with Ace, too.
Well, Vixen in 2025 is putting on a fabulous show. You girls sound amazing. The vocals blow me away, and there's no backing track garbage. Everything's performed live.
Hell yeah. None of that. No, we don't do that. We don't need to. When you go see a band, you kind of want that rawness. I don't really when I go to a concert, I don't want them to sound just like the CD or the recording. I want to hear some rawness. We give it to you, but the vocals are incredible. Yeah, Rosa nails it every night, and Britt, Julia, and Tyson, we all do backing vocals, and it's just there.
So what can fans expect from the upcoming show, the Clearfield County Fair, Saturday, July 19th, the Vixen Show?
You're going to get some classic Vixen freshened up. Great show. These girls have a ton of energy on stage. They're having a blast, as you can see. We're all smiles. And you're going to see a rock show.
Well, Roxy, thank you very much for joining me this morning on Back to the 80s. It's been fantastic to talk to you. And before I let you go, I'll tell you what, we have a pair of tickets to the show. We're going to give them away right now. We're going to open up the phone lines, 814-768-WOKW. What numbered caller should we give the tickets to, Roxy?
Let's do number 10.
All right, you heard her. Caller number 10. Going to win tickets to see Vixen, Stephen Piercy from Rat, and Ace Frehley. Live on stage at the Clearfield County Fair, Saturday, July 19th. Roxy Petrucci, this has been great. Can't wait to see you at the show, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I love it, and I'm excited to come play. Come on out and rev it up with us. We can't wait to see you. Let's go.